Hey Essies, I'm Akili King, Senior Beauty Editor at Essence Magazine, and I'm so excited to present MakeUp HerStory, which is our Women's History Month beauty series highlighting incredible and inspiring Black women in the beauty industry. Today, I'm so excited to be here with the Alicia Scott of Range Beauty, looking so beautiful.
Thank you, so do you.
Thank
you.
you.
Look good.
Thanks, good. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm more excited to be here with you. You know that. So Range Beauty is an amazing makeup brand dedicated to acne-prone and eczema-prone skin. Basically speaking my love language as an eczema girly, which I was telling you right before this. But I would love to start off with you just telling us about your journey and what inspired you to launch Range Beauty.
Yes, so I actually didn't have any background in beauty. I started off in fashion. I moved to New York after college to begin my fashion career. And while working a lot of different roles, designer's assistants, fashion PR, sales, everything, I noticed a common thread of a lot of the MUAs on set not having makeup for the models that we would typically cast for, who were brown or deeper skin toned. And that overlapped with my own skin journey of not having a relationship with beauty because I never saw my tone represented. And then also dealing with acne and eczema and not wanting to use anything that was going to further irritate my skin. And I just had this aha moment, like, listen, it doesn't exist. Who better than me to create it? So I took it into my own hands, and that's how I started Range Beauty.
I love it, I love it. And then, so you've done some amazing things, like you've been part of the Glossier Grant program, which is where we actually met, and I'm so inspired by your story that night. You've also been on Shark Tank as well. What were those experiences like for you?
Those experiences were incredibly validating for me because it's one thing to start a brand in your living room and you're like, oh, maybe my friends and family might buy it, but to be able to go onto a larger stage and platform and really showcase the brand, really show off who we are and who I created this for was completely invaluable. And to reach new audiences as well who didn't know that we existed, and then to walk away from Shark Tank with an investor, to then go on and be able to launch at Sephora eventually, to win Glossier's first alumni grant. All of these things were just a culmination of, okay, I have something that's real, I have something that people believe is needed and needs to be seen.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
Yes.
Because, I mean, even just from my experience with eczema and hormonal acne even, it is hard to find makeup products that don't break out your skin or enhance the problem. So we appreciate your work. You're doing the Lord's work.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Yes, absolutely. And then, so you launched in about 2018, correct?
Yes. So I launched in August 2018 while still working my 9-to-5. Again, I thought this was just a side hustle, just, something that I was going to use, my family and friends may support, and it really took off. I feel like 2020 was absolutely our breakout year. It's where I took on Range full time after getting the traction that we had over the last 2 years. And then we were featured on Beyonce.com, and that's when it was just like, okay, girl, catch up. And it just seemed like things just kept on building and building from there.
Incredible. And so as you look back, it's now 2025. What were some challenges that you faced as a founder so far, and what would you say has helped you overcome them?
I always speak to the biggest challenge being raising capital, especially as a Black woman founder. The investment landscape is awful. 0.003% of us are receiving funding, even though we're the most founded, we're the least funded. And so fighting for that investment has been so difficult because you can only grow as much as you have, and sometimes it stunts the growth. Sometimes, as you've seen across these last 2 years, businesses unfortunately having to shut their doors because we just can't grow the way we need to without that infusion of capital. For me, I focused on partners who really understood that. So my first investor was Fearless Fund out of Atlanta. Second was Emma through Shark Tank, who sits on the board of the 15% Pledge and really believes in Black women and what they're building. And then also paying attention to grants like the Glossy Award and other accelerators and awards that really pay attention to what we're building and believe that we need the investment from them. So doing that along with the help from my community who's supporting us and buying the products and amplifying our work is how we've been able to keep going.
Absolutely. I love that. And I feel like that's an important call out too for Black women or just other, upcoming entrepreneurs to hear like what roadblocks they might hit. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
And then also, you're so busy. You just mentioned that you're now in Sephora. So I'm sure you're super busy. Off of that, how are you practicing self-care these days? What does that look like for you?
Oh, self-care is so important to me because when I took the business on full-time, I definitely had the overlap of becoming the brand. There was no separation. And so I started doing therapy. I have a Black woman therapist who's incredible. And yes,
shout out to her.
Get a therapist, please, if you can. But she really taught me the importance in separating myself from the brand, that it's more about who I am and not what I do. And so that was more so tapping back into things I enjoyed, like even my childlike self. So puzzling, pottery, reading. We just had Black Women Rest Day on Monday, and I took advantage of that. I was like, don't email me.
Good.
I'm unplugged.
You deserve it.
I'm doing all the things I love. But I think it's important to make sure we have those type of moments and days repeatedly instead of waiting until we're approaching burnout or until we're hit with burnout. Because then I feel like it's hard to just get back to that. So I've definitely been able to incorporate that more and just, some things are just out of my control, and it's like I'm not going to just work myself up over it. And then also reflecting on how far I've made it. A lot of times I get down on like things not going right in the business or hearing no's and getting the rejection. And I'm like, this started off in your living room, and look at what you've done so far. It's going to be fine. So
absolutely. No, I love all those tips and what your therapist shared too, that you're not your brand.
Oh yes.
You're not what you do. You're the person you are. And also, that's an essay that I love by Toni Morrison. She says something similar to that, and that's really helped me as well. Just like not feel pigeonholed or boxed in, and just it allows you to grow and realize you're bringing something special wherever you go, and it's not necessarily what you're making.
Exactly. I feel like as Black women, sometimes we are so tied into like, how do we monetize this? Like, oh, it's a hobby. How do I start selling it? Or how do I tap into another stream of income? And sometimes we just need to let the hobby be a hobby and let that be how we stay grounded, how we unplug, and have that part for just us.
Absolutely. Love it all, love it all. And then, so as an eczema girly, like what are some tips and tricks that you've learned to kind of help calm any breakouts or anything like that?
Best tip ever. I put everything in the refrigerator. So I put our primer in the refrigerator, any body lotion that I need to use for like flare-ups, the cooling effect, because typically with eczema, that's like the inflammation. So that's where that irritation and that itchiness and all of that burning is coming from. So anything to cool and soothe it, not just the ingredients, but also the actual cooling of something cold. That's my biggest thing, and it brings so much like immediate relief. Same with like if you take an ice cube in a paper towel or something and apply it, or those like ice globes that they have, that relief. Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, noted. I'm going home and
put it in the refrigerator.
All my products in the refrigerator. Noted. Amazing. And so, you're here today on MakeUp HerStory. What does it mean to you to be a HerStory maker?
Oh my gosh.
And what would you like your legacy to be?
Oh, wait, two great ones. For me, it means the world because I did it in a way that uplifts and promotes and represents Black women in the Black community, and making sure that I have a product, making sure that I have a brand that pushes that forward, and getting the recognition for that is like so near and dear to my heart. And then with my legacy, I think that's kind of the same, where I just want to be remembered for making sure that I tapped into my community, not just with what we're selling, but even when I'm thinking about, on campaign shoots, I make sure we have a Black photographer, making sure we have the models there, Black makeup artists, vendors that we work with, trying to find local Black-owned businesses, just trying to really make sure that Black dollar circulates in our community. And I feel like that's the best part of my legacy.
I love that. And it's bigger than you. It's
Absolutely.
affecting the whole community,
Yeah.
uplifting them. I love that.
Thank you.
Speaking of that, obviously it's Women's History Month.
Yes.
What women or which women are inspiring you right now? Who would you like to give your flowers to?
Oh my gosh, I am so inspired by Keke Palmer.
Oh, me too. Oh
like,
my gosh. You know it's
wow.
your girl.
It's your girl. Like, she is just doing it, and she's doing it so boldly and unapologetically. Like, I just love how she's truly herself, and she finds comfort in being herself. And it just seems like her ground cannot be shaken, like it cannot be messed with. And I feel like that's so important, because we get into a lot of these spaces where they try to shrink us, or they try to say you're too loud, you're too much, you're too this and you're too that. And I think Keke is the epitome of like, I really don't care what you have to say.
No,
like,
literally.
this is how I'm showing up, and you're going to accept it or you're not, and I'm going to keep it moving. So she is top of mind for me right now.
Yes, same. Yeah, I saw a comment on TikTok about her that was like, confidence hates to see Keke.
Oh,
come
yes,
in.
it
And I was
is.
like, serious.
It is.
Yeah, no, she's incredible. Love that.
Yes.
And then obviously you've done some amazing things already, but as you look forward, what are you looking forward to? What are you hoping for in this next season for Alicia and also Range Beauty?
For Range, I'm excited to continue to expand our product line. We have a fun new product coming this year, which will be our first new product in like 3 years. So I'm very excited about that. Continuing the mission of amplifying that eczema and acne. It's not troubled skin, it's not problematic skin, it's real skin. And that real skin has range, and making sure we continue to show that off.
Okay, I love that. I see what you did there.
You see what I did right there. And then for me personally, just continuing to evolve and grow. I feel like being a founder has taught me so much about myself. It's taught me about my strength. It's taught me about my resilience. It's shown me creativity has no bounds. And so I hope I continue to tap into that.
Beautiful. Well, I'm so inspired. You're killing it.
Thank you.
I mean, again, I feel so seen. Just like, again, when I heard your story, when I met you, and just your products are amazing.
Thank you.
So we appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Happy Women's History Month.